Breaking news in the NFL, as Trent McDuffie has been traded in a Blockbuster trade, he's going the big haul of this a 2026 first round pick, a 5th round pick, and a 6th round pick, all in 2026, and a 2027 3rd round pick. Let's specify. The Rams have 2 first round picks. This is pick number 29. This is their pick when they got in the loss in the NFC Championship game. They had the Atlanta Falcons first round pick in 2026. So that's the difference. Trent McDuffie is the lone trade part, I guess, of the Chiefs. A lot of people have said it's a fleece by the Chiefs. Some say it's a fleece by the Rams. All I can tell you is about 5 or 10 minutes ago, Tom Pelissero reposted a tweet from Patrick Mahomes just saying the word damn. Like either damn as in I can't believe they did this, or damn as I couldn't believe this guy got traded. But either way you take it, it is a move. It's a masterful move by the Rams here. You had 2 first round picks. You clearly live by that mindset of F them picks. You just have to go make moves. You have to be able to get guys as much as you can to be on this team and to be as good as you want to be. The great thing about Trent McDuffie is he's a very versatile player. He can play inside. You had success with the Emmanuel Forbes thing, even though that was more of like a reclamation project. You've had some good pieces, especially in the secondary over the last few years, but nothing like Trent McDuffie, who's still a young corner. You do have to talk about contract. We will get into that a little bit later. This was a move that the Rams needed to make, needed a cornerback help, and this helped you in a big way. Also for the Chiefs, you knew this was going to happen. You knew a trade like this could happen because of how much money is owed on your salary cap. We talked about this on Monday's show, which aired last night with the George Pickens deal, about how the Cowboys, you would think the Cowboys are in salary cap hell, but they're not. The Chiefs were kind of in the same boat. There's multiple ways to handle this. You can either trade a player, cut a player, restructure the contracts, or extend players. Well, you can only do that so much before the contracts, we put so much money to the future that now we have to pay off that debt. In the case of the Chiefs, you could not do that with a first year contract. You can't do that on a first contract. You can only do that on second or third contracts. That's the way the league works it. Trent McDuffie was still on the long term, or still on his first contract, and still had an option. So you were worried about, how do we extend him? How do we get the most value for him? And I heard people when this first broke about Tyreek Hill. This is the Tyreek Hill thing. This is what the Chiefs did with Tyreek Hill. There's multiple examples that are more concrete than that. The L'Jarius Sneed example. The Marcus Peters example. Marcus Peters got traded to the Rams. So there's obviously a working relationship there, as he got traded and he got a big contract, which is what Trent McDuffie is looking for, as he wants to get extended. Is he the top 5 highest paid corner? Is he the highest paid corner? Is he only top 10? How does that all get shaken out? Who knows? But those are things that have to be asked. The recent example of this is L'Jarius Sneed, when L'Jarius Sneed got traded to the Titans. I'm 100% certain that's what they were kind of going for here, that kind of haul. You get a first, so now you have 2 firsts. You have an early first, you have a late first round pick, and a very good defensive class. You got a 5th round pick and a 6th round pick. Okay, good depth pieces, which you do need, by the way. You don't have a good depth on this team. And then you get a 3rd round pick in 2027, which you'll take, because oftentimes teams are just giving those picks away anyway. You'll take that. You want to rebuild this team. One of the things, let's talk with the Chiefs first. This team was very old. You had one of the younger pieces that was Trent McDuffie that you were going to have to pay a lot of money to. And you don't want to necessarily close that Super Bowl window, and I don't think you do when you have Patrick Mahomes. But having Trent McDuffie on the team at that expensive contract with a Chris Jones, with a Patrick Mahomes, potentially with a Travis Kelce, it's a very expensive team. And you don't want to do that. You have to find ways to keep guys around. By getting rid of Trent McDuffie, you allow your team to get younger because you can draft more now, but you can also keep up the pacing in the NFL in general in terms of the draft. Because the way it looks currently, you're going to lose a couple other players. I know Brian Cook is up as a free agent. Do you bring him back? There's a couple guys who are good rotational guys, not necessarily starters, but good rotational guys like Chanel, who is available at this current point as he's out of contract. You got people. That's a good question to have. Can we bring them back? If the answer is yes, then why shouldn't we? If the answer is no, then why is it a no? That's the whole thing you want to ask yourself. And by keeping Trent McDuffie, which would have been very expensive, by the way, and then the hope of, okay, we can just franchise tag him. It's harder to get those guys franchise tag because they're a first round player and because of how high the market is. Cornerback market is very high. Do I want to franchise tag a player who I think deserves it, but at the same time would take a big portion of my salary cap? Those are things that both have to be questioned. And also the other part of this is, what if he gets hurt? What if he gets hurt? Then I can't trade him. Then I can't move anything. It becomes very difficult. So those are the things that need to all be controlled. I do want to make this abundantly clear, though. Trent McDuffie going to the Rams will not be cheap, not just from a picks perspective, but from a contract perspective. Because the way these things work is they usually say, can we request permission to talk to so-and-so player about a contract if we want to trade for him? And some teams will say, okay, you can, but only come back to us when you have a deal figured out. Some of us will say, no, you have to agree to a contract. You have to agree to a trade before you can do that. Or we have to agree to a trade that we won't announce yet before you can talk to Trent McDuffie and his agents. It depends. It's always different. I'll give you a great example. The Micah Parsons trade. They allowed Green Bay to talk to Parsons, the Cowboys did, prior to agreeing to the trade to agree to the contract. Partially that was because they wanted to see what the number would be. Partially that was because they wondered, okay, how much are they invested in this player? I don't know if the Chiefs did the same thing for Trent McDuffie. I don't know if they allowed the Rams to talk to him. I can't say that at this current time, but I can tell you the contract will be very extensive. It'll be very expensive, but it'll be well earned. Because like I said, you can move him all over the place. He can be a slot corner. He can be an outside corner. You keep him around in LA for longer than a year, that's an advantage. So I like this move from both sides. In terms of who won the trade, I think it's a win-win. I don't think really anyone lost a trade unless you're considering the Chiefs who lost a player. In which case, then yes, I'll say, okay, the Chiefs lost. But to me, it's a win-win. You got a lot of assets back for dealing Trent McDuffie, and the Rams get Trent McDuffie. It's a good deal all the way around. But let me know in the comments who won this trade. Did the Rams win it, or did the Chiefs win it? For NFL World, I'm Jacob Peebo, and all the breaking news in the NFL.